Update. My friend's broke, so I offered him a job as a waiter. He turned it down, saying it's low and not respected. Today he approached me with some wild demands in order to accept my help. Original post. My friend is broke. He hasn't worked in over a year. He's running out of savings and has even had to ask his parents to support him. I've asked him many times why he doesn't try to get a job outside his field. He has a computer science degree, but has never worked a single day in the field since graduating. He's turned down lots of jobs because of various reasons. Either they don't pay him enough, or they won't give him a higher-up position right off the bat, etc. I'm well aware he's deluded in that sense, but he has many other good qualities, and that's why I love the guy. Since graduating, the only job he's done is share marketing, something like online investing in Forex. He claimed he made about $20 a day and that it was enough for him. We're not in the US. He's single, lives in a shared house, and doesn't spend much. Whatever makes him happy, right? The thing is, he's totally broke. I don't even think he's really making $20 a day on shares because he has completely run out of money. He's stressed out and won't stop complaining about his financial problems. This confuses me because I think his pride is preventing him from getting a job that doesn't fit his ego. I work as a server in a very nice restaurant and have offered him a job as a server many times. I have a great relationship with my boss, and after explaining my friend's situation, my boss immediately said he'd like to help and would offer him a full-time job. My friend has been turning it down for months without giving much of an explanation. Today he called me saying his parents had cut him off and asked to borrow money. I told him that as a personal rule, I do not lend money to anyone, but he was welcome to start working with me tomorrow. Once again, he turned down the offer. I got frustrated because I was offering him a solution to his money problem, but he refused to take it. We got into a bit of banter, and he finally confessed that he thinks being a server is low and doesn't earn you people's respect. I told him respect is earned by getting off your butt and doing whatever you have to do to make ends meet. I asked him if he thought I was low, and he backpedaled, saying he didn't mean I was low, but that the job itself was. Then he straight up told me that nobody can respect me for working as a waiter in my 30s. Wow. Honestly, I'm pretty upset. Does he really think I'm low for working as a server? I have a degree too, but I couldn't find a job in my field, so I took the first job I could. I'm not some prissy prick who thinks I'm too good to serve others. I take pride in being a waiter and doing a great job. His comments really hurt me. Why is he even my friend if he thinks I'm beneath him? I didn't want to say something nasty or get into an argument, so I told him he was being very offensive and that he needed time to think about what he had just said. He replied that there was nothing to think about, then gave me a list of other low jobs, like street sweeping, cleaning, etc., and said it was just a fact that those jobs aren't respected. I asked him to apologize before this turned into a full-blown argument, but he refused, saying he stood by what he said. I don't want to overreact, but I don't know if we can keep being friends after this. I really don't know what to do. I don't want to badmouth him, but he should take a hard look at his life and learn some empathy. I'm a very easygoing and forgiving person, but what he said was both idiotic and deeply hurtful. A man who refuses to work is calling me low? Now for the top advice before reading the update. Lol, being unemployed and asking your parents for money at 30 is lower than literally any job. Honestly, be happy he didn't took the job, because with that attitude, he wouldn't have lasted long and tarnished your reputation with it. I don't want to overreact, but I don't know if we can keep being friends after this. Honestly, don't keep him as a friend. Doesn't seem that you get much out of the friendship anyway. I always ask myself, if everything is okay, why is there any doubt? Your alarm bells are ringing, and for good reason. Don't ignore them. Why would you want to surround yourself with this dude? He has a crappy, arrogant view of work and life. He's turning down jobs because they won't hand him the highest position right off the bat. Come on, man. How out of touch do you have to be? I had a friend just like that. He always complained about not having money, yet he spent huge amounts on luxuries. I offered him a job as a field agent at my company and even set up an interview. The interviewer told him he needed to be available for calls from customers because they might have urgent problems. He told her he couldn't be available all the time because he has his own personal life and might be having sex with his girlfriend and couldn't answer. She was shocked and told him that was inappropriate. He didn't get the job, obviously. I was mad at him for saying such dumb stuff, but he insisted he was right. I told him he might have tarnished my reputation, and he kept insisting he stood up for his morals. I cut off contact with this a-hole. He didn't care about me, my reputation, or the fact that I set him up with a job interview. It was all about him. Good riddance. I would leave him to it. I had a very similar experience with a qualified graphic designer working in Oddbins, a wine shop. He'd been there 6 to 7 years since he graduated. As a favor to his big brother, a good mate of mine, I gave him a job in my agency. He was rude to customers, slow, late, and generally slack. We were a very social company, and I knew his brother, so I ended up socializing with him. At one point, he came to drum in my successful band. Things seemed like they were going great, until I upset him because he went through a filing cabinet and found out my personal assistant was paid more than him. Huge fight, and I offered him the same wage in the end just to shut him up. He worked for me another 6 months, acting grateful and working really hard, then left without warning, stealing all the clients he'd become kind to. If they are ungrateful now, imagine what they'll be like once they start resenting you because now you're their boss. Now for the update. So basically, he's very broke, and his parents have cut him off. I've been offering him a job at the restaurant I work at for months, and he has always turned it down. His situation got so bad that he came to me yesterday asking to borrow money. I don't lend money to anyone as a rule, but I told him there would always be a plate of food for him at my house, and he was welcome to accept the job offer and start working with me the very next day. Well, long story short, we had a bit of an argument, if you can even call it that, and he finally confessed that he thinks being a server is low and won't earn him people's respect. In an interesting turn of events, he called me today and said he had thought it through and had decided he was willing to accept the job, but only under one condition, as if he were the one doing me a favor. His demand that he be made manager right off the bat. Oh, and he also wanted to move in with me so that I could drive him to work, because the bus ride from his house to my workplace takes 35 minutes, and that's over an hour of commuting a day. He then suggested that I move my youngest daughter into my elder daughter's room so that he could have an empty bedroom in my house. So clearly he had given this some thought. I was dumbfounded. The level of entitlement and pride you have to make those kinds of demands is astonishing. I know he's never had a proper job, but he's not stupid. He has to know you can't just be made a manager when you don't even know the names of the dishes or how to serve a coffee. It's all about his pride. His ego's even bigger than I thought. He can't be humble enough to accept a waiter job and work his way up. He needs to be made a manager so that it won't hurt his pride as much. To be honest, I was so at a loss for words that I just said, "I don't want to talk," and hung up. I can't explain how off-putting that conversation was. I feel repelled by him, disgusted even. Something has changed inside me. I can't have a person like him in my life anymore. What makes a person refuse all help just out of sheer pride? My wife says I've been patient and kind enough to him throughout the years, and that I should let him figure things out on his own. He really is broke. Before his parents cut him off, they were covering his rent and bills, and he survived on the $20 a day he claimed to be making investing in Forex. I know he barely eats, can't even afford a new pair of shoes, and is struggling in other ways. He has no money, so why won't he accept the job? He's not shy, he has no mental health issues, and he has no problem dealing with people. He has refused many other jobs in the past, even jobs related to his degree, computer science. He has this delusional idea that he deserves higher-up positions right from the start because he's him. That's why he hasn't worked a single day since graduating nearly a decade ago. Anyway, I need to do some deep thinking and reevaluate this friendship because I don't like the person he's becoming. His dad is a bus driver, and his mother is a retired teacher. They are lovely, humble, down-to-earth people, and I think they did the right thing by cutting him off. I know they're both struggling financially, so it's not fair for their son to leech off them. His mother even had to go back to work, doing some tutoring just to make extra money to support him. I'd be ashamed if I made my 70-year-old mother go back to work just so I could sit at home dreaming of landing the perfect job while doing nothing to actually get one. Anyway, I'm rambling. Sorry, I'm just so mad. My wife says it's time to cut the cord and distance ourselves from him. I think she might be right. That's wild. Dude doesn't have any work experience and thinks a CS degree with no practical knowledge entitles him to managerial role. Well, the same kind of guy who has a CS degree when those skills were in really high demand and highly compensated/favorable, but still turned down all the job offers in favor of being unemployed. Trouble is, after 10 years of unemployment with a CS degree, no one will want him now. Even if he applies for a junior IT job, people would rightfully be suspicious of him. Plus, I doubt he's kept up to date in the field. IT degrees age like milk. Don't get this guy a job where you work. He will end up making you look bad. Yep, I unfortunately got my sister a job with me once, even though I knew she had always been fired for not showing up or listening to authority. I thought maybe working together she could see how hard I work and do the same. Nope, she completely walked all over me and refused to do what I told her, even though I was her direct supervisor. She worked about a month before getting fired for attendance issues. I was so embarrassed to have recommended her and for being related to her. I have found that the people that want me to recommend them for a job are usually the type of person you really don't want to give a recommendation for. Next story. Treating my coworker differently after she accused me of making her uncomfortable when I covered for her at work. I, 30 male, work in an office with a small team. A few months ago, my coworker Samantha, 28 female, had an emergency and had to leave work early. She was supposed to finish a report that was due the next morning, so she asked if I could help cover for her. I had some extra time, so I finished up her report and sent it in under both of our names to make sure she got credit. The next day, she thanked me, but seemed kind of off. A couple of days later, I was called into HR. Turns out, Samantha had filed a complaint saying that my taking over her work without explicit permission made her uncomfortable, and that it felt like I was trying to undermine her. I was utterly confused because, 1, she had asked for help, and 2, I didn't take credit away from her. HR conducted an investigation, and after a week they cleared me. But the whole thing shook me. I never expected that helping a coworker would land me in trouble. After that, I kept things strictly professional with Samantha. I still say hello and work with her when needed, but I don't chat with her casually, offer to help, or include her in group outings anymore. She's noticed and confronted me about it, saying I'm treating her unfairly and being cold. She explained that she was just setting a boundary and didn't mean for HR to investigate so seriously. I told her I understand, but I need to protect myself too, so I'm just being more cautious now. She said I was being dramatic and should move on. Inform HR of the conversation before you are accused of creating a hostile work environment. She's already stabbed you in the back once. Any further communication should go through traceable means like texts or emails. If not, document it and reach out to HR. Not necessarily to report her, but to seek counsel on how to maintain a professional relationship with someone who has previously reported you. She started the whole issue over pride, and yet OP is the dramatic one. There's almost no way for HR to have known what happened without her reporting it, so saying she didn't mean for HR to investigate so seriously is disingenuous. If it was a small issue, she should have talked to you personally. She made it a big issue and you're properly treating it as one. She knew. She was covering her behind in case the victim let it slip that he was covering for her. Yeah, she knew what she was doing. Now she's just upset OP isn't playing along. Literally going through this at work. A coworker lost her absolute mind and went off on the whole office. She knew she messed up and apologized, but some of us felt like her screaming and cursing went too far this time. So what did she do? She went to HR first and pulled every card she could. This was super hurtful because we were friends and had covered for her for a long time. Now HR is doing an investigation and she's in the hot seat. She's furious. I and others feel betrayed, and it's just a crappy situation. Never thought I'd be in this position, but here we are. Last story. Told my roommate to move out after she risked my life to prove a point. I, 25 female, have 2 roommates, Jenny and Abby. Jenny started noticing her food going missing and blamed both of us. I didn't eat any of her food, so I wasn't super worried. Yesterday, Jenny called a roommate meeting. When we were off work, she sat us down and told Abby that she wanted to be paid back for the food that had gone missing. Abby started arguing, saying it wasn't her and that it was probably me. That's when Jenny said it couldn't have been me, because she had been putting nuts into her food and in her stuff, even in food that doesn't make sense to have nuts in it, because I'm severely allergic to them. She said I couldn't have done it because I'd be dead. She said it all proud, like she had caught Abby, but I literally felt sick. I could have died, like genuinely died. An EpiPen isn't a cure. You still have to go to the hospital and it's bad. Also, they're really expensive to replace. She was willing to risk my life over $30 of food. She and I argued, and she said she knew it wasn't me, so that's why she did it. But I don't believe her. I told her to move out, and now both Abby and Jenny are mad at me. But it's my life. It's my name on the apartment. I'm fairly certain I'm justified in kicking her out, but I'm double-checking. It feels absolutely insane that I could lose a 4-year friendship over something that wasn't even my fault. Abby is mad at me and says I'm overreacting, but she also doesn't want to move out, so she's at least somewhat on my side. Jenny's angry and not speaking to me. I told her she has 30 days to get out of the apartment. Even if you had been taking her food, she was willing to unalive you to prove it. That's insane. I know it's kind of a moot point since you didn't eat her food, but she couldn't have known that with 100% certainty. She bet your life on the 50% chance it wasn't you. That's not okay. Right? What if OP had a sugar crash and just needed a bite of something and intended to pay her back, but wasn't the usual culprit? A necessary danger. I'd kick her too for being so reckless. Yep, she treated OP's life like it was disposable. That's not a good friend or roommate. I would also kick Abby out for blaming you for something she knew she did. Having to cover rent while replacing 2 roommates at the same time could be a challenge. Kick one out, let the other think she's safe. Replace her, kick the other one out. Replace her. Easy fix.